With me today in the studio is Rabbi Eliot Pearlson, the rabbi of Temple Menorah in Miami Beach. We're here to speak about a special project that this congregation has in support of Jonathan Pollard. Rabbi Pearlson, thank you for joining us. Tell me a little bit of some of the history of the Pollard case for our audience, and then we want to move into what specifically now your congregation is doing to support him and the cause.
Well, 27 years ago, Jonathan Pollard was arrested, and he was accused of stealing. I shouldn't say stealing. He was appropriating information as a naval intelligence agent working for the United States Department of Defense. And he was giving the information to Israel in peacetime to an ally. And he was not found guilty because he didn't go to trial. He actually cooperated with the FBI and the Department of Defense. He gave them information about how he had spirited the information out of the Department of Defense. He cooperated and helped them close the ways of information could leak out. And in return for that, he pled guilty. He did not go to trial. He pled guilty. And the understanding was that they would not ask for life imprisonment, which is in theory what they could have asked for. And more specifically, he was not accused of treason. He was accused of giving classified information to an ally in peacetime. And regrettably, most probably, it's understood now that it was Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger who inappropriately submitted a 45-page document to the judge, the sentencing judge, in which he made a lot of misstatements and statements that were not actually appropriate to the actual sentencing, and influenced the judge so that the judge broke the agreement, the pre-sentencing agreement in which Jonathan Pollard cooperated, and actually sentenced Pollard to life imprisonment. And the reason why that's amazing is that never before in the history of the United States has a person cooperated to this extent for accusations for a crime. By the way, he doesn't deny it. He absolutely admitted his crime, in which he gave information that was promised to an ally in peacetime. Yet he's been sentenced and he's currently serving a lifetime sentence.
Well, if this broached the original agreement, why has his team of attorneys not been able to overturn the conviction?
Well, actually there was an appeal, and it turns out that the federal laws are very specific, and they actually, unfortunately, missed the deadline for the appeal. And one of the judges, a federal judge, his name is Williams, actually made a statement that although a technicality keeps them from releasing Jonathan Pollard, on the technicality being they missed the actual date of the appeal, that he felt, Judge Williams felt, that it was one of the grossest miscarriages of sentencing in the history of the federal court system. So the judges are admitting that there's been a gross miscarriage of justice, but because of technicalities, they can't set him free.
Let me ask you, we recently saw in the news that Vice President Biden was asked specifically about pardoning Jonathan Pollard, and he said over his dead body. What do you make of that?
I think that, unfortunately, Vice President Biden is not properly informed of the situation. Because, for example, there are people who were found guilty who went to trial. Do you have any idea how much a trial would have cost the United States trying Jonathan Pollard? But instead he cooperated. But let's take situations of people that actually had to be taken to trial, cost the United States millions and millions of dollars. For example, there was an American citizen, his name was Helmy, he was an Egyptian American, and he was found guilty of giving top secret information, not just classified, top secret information to Iraq before the Iraq War. And he was sentenced to 7 years, which is ridiculous.
So how do you explain this disparity?
Well, I could go on with many more cases, and you're absolutely right. That's what we're arguing about. That's what we're fighting about, that there's a blatant miscarriage of justice compared to other cases. For example, maybe remember Ames and Walker. These were Americans who were agents of the FBI who sold top secret information to the Soviets at the height of the conflicts between the United States and the Soviet Union. And you're talking about these people who endangered the lives of Americans and were most probably, Ames was most probably responsible for the death of American agents in the Soviet Union. And these people got less than 25 years, and they were out in 15 years. Jonathan's about to observe his 27th year in prison. So why do I think Biden did it? I think he's falling into that classical trap of being misinformed about what really is happening, what happened then, and what continues to happen now.
Tell us a little, what is Temple Menorah, your congregation? What are you doing to keep in the forefront, to keep Jonathan Pollard and this miscarriage of justice in the forefront of people's minds?
Well, let me emphasize again and reiterate again that no one says he's innocent. He's guilty. And even he, on numerous occasions, has written letters making statements to the same, that he is guilty, what he did was wrong, and he shouldn't have done it. And no one's questioning that. And Temple Menorah is not questioning. He is guilty, and we don't think he should have done what he did do. However, this is a miscarriage of justice, and therefore what Temple Menorah, I'm now observing my 23rd year at Temple Menorah, and for 21 years we've had a chair on our bima. Our bima is our ritual stage. And we have a chair reserved for Jonathan Pollard, and it has his name on it, and it's draped in a prayer shawl and a talit. And the idea is that we have to remember him every single day. And in our Shabbat bulletin that we give out every weekend, we have an address of the White House, a number at the White House, and we encourage people to call and to express to the president, especially now, for example, in the holiday season, that in the spirit of forgiveness, that Jonathan Pollard should be set free after 27 years. It's enough. The time has come.
Rabbi Pearlson, I want to thank you for being with us. I encourage our audience to stay informed about this issue and stay up with the story. It is an ongoing story and one that we hope will be resolved for the entire Pollard family quickly.